I'm the Information Officer Type 2 trainee for Jerry Bruner's Type 2 team out of Eastern Great Basin, and my duty station is the Boise BLM Smoke Jumpers. And this is the Cadigan Complex Fire. Actually only one fire, the Hale Gulch Fire. Started by lightning, I believe, August 7th, August 8th, somewhere around there. Salmon-Challis got hit with a huge lightning storm, had little fires pop up all over the place. This one turned out to be the biggest, 2,400 acres. And this is the only spot right here where it's hit the river. Most other spots it's stayed up high along the canyon. There's about 24 homes, residents that live along the riverfront, and they pose the biggest threat. And the helicopter right there, he's just freelancing. Usually you work with a guy on the ground, kind of directs where his drop should be, but he's just told to freelance, hit the flames. And he's doing a pretty good job. And he's so close to us, you're probably not hearing a word I said, but anyway, pretty good. I'm not a helicopter guy, but I think it's a Bell 212 or a Bell 205. It's what we call a Type 2 helicopter. And even though this looks pretty basic, it's actually pretty hard having that long line with a bucket on it. You can see flying around. He's got to control the bucket. It wants to fly all over the place. Then he's got to get over the timber. He's doing a great job. You'd worry about that bucket getting caught in a tree, whipping him around. So he's doing a good job.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go here in about 20 minutes. Yes. Did you send me some weather and give me an update? Copy that. Hey, Monty, what do you want to do that? Line to come down. 051 on deck.
Right now we probably got an air attack over our head. They're in a fixed wing platform, pilot and an air attack that coordinates all the air operations. And he's probably right now looking down at us going, what's that knucklehead smoke jumper doing with that camera crew right there? So anyway. Well, the first thing I can tell you is about the fuels. These are, the grass is what we call our 1 hours or our fine fuels, a little bit bigger. 10-hour fuels, and the fuel moisture is really low right now. Not much moisture in the fuels. And you get a real high wind in here, and your probability of ignition hits like 100%. You get a loose fire band in here, wind would just come in and sweep this whole place up. And then right now with the fire close to the river's edge and a little bit of gust, there's the worry about the fire spotting across. And you can see kind of they have crews positioned right in here. And all these guys do, it doesn't look like they're doing much, but they're doing a whole hell of a lot. They got their eyes in the green, and as soon as they see something pop up somewhere, a little smoke, they're on it, just like that. And that's really all they're doing. And they've probably been doing this for the whole week. Just eyes on the green, station here and there looking. I mean, we do have tons of crews up on the hill working, putting in line, but then the other part of the process is just kind of holding, waiting for spots and stuff like that. Because the biggest worry with this fire is it crossing the river and just going up to Montana this way. And even though this fire is doing a great thing by burning out the fuels right along the river, you know, to have fire close to this river and the chance of spotting is a little risky.
South with the copy. Yeah, Jeff, also, when did your R rates start going back up when you were doing your natty ignition? Pretty late in the day, I would say. It was about 1930, 2000. Okay, what we're going to do here is just go up there and kind of clean it up or anything.
You can see what we got going on here is this really a ground fire. Not up in the crowns yet, not up in the trees. Hasn't gone up the ladder fuels. You know, by ladder fuels, I mean just like a ladder. It works its way to the top. So it's just skunking around on the ground, but we're still seeing a few torching here and there. You know, if it hits some nice fuel pockets with some fine fuels that are on the ground, maybe some dried out 10, 100 hours, you know, it could really ignite, and then we get what's called a crown fire where the fire moves in the crown. Right over here, this is where it burned, and you can see it's cleaned around. You can see up top, nice black up top. Look at that. Burned up a lot of the ground fuels. Still looks aesthetically pleasing. A lot of the trees are still in place. You know, some of them might have burned up the roots and killed one or two, but really you had a nice ground fire up here. And look at that. Protected the home you have right over there. So the guys did a great job. And then you can see this is typical of the West Country. Steep and hilly terrain. And the fire is really not that big of a deal. You get 2,400 acres, you can put a lot of people in it and put it out in a day or two. But with steep country like this, with the amount of resources we have, it's still, I mean, it's tough to go up and down that. And you can imagine being in the east, what would you think about having to hike up and down that all day? So it is pretty tough country, and that's what makes it a difficult fire. Stuff like that right there, fire's way up on top. The only reason why we're getting smoke down here is because stuff rolls down. And to have people working above it, that's where the real risk is. Just to get people working above where everything rolls down to, fire could come back up with a nice wind gust, and that's how people get in trouble. So you can see why this is a real tricky fire, just within these steep canyons and stuff. I don't know if you can get a shot of the pumps starting from down here, but you got what we call portable Mark III pumps starting at the river, and then they just spread the hose all the way up to the top. And Mark IIIs are pretty good pumps. They can get water all the way to the top. And now that they have line in here, they spent all day and a little bit yesterday blacking all this, just burning it out. And you can see they did a really good job with the burn, because if you notice, didn't get in the canopy at all. Just burned all down below. Just an awesome prescribed fire. In fact, even though this is a wildfire, this is what a typical prescribed fire looks like in the West. You burned all the fuel underneath, all that heavy down stuff that's been falling for years, it's accumulated, it's now been cleaned out. Look at it, it's a great burn. And then all the guys are doing is, slowly what we'll do is we'll mop up about 500 feet in. So the perimeter is just really secure. So there's no chance the fire going that way. And that'll be the goal over the next couple days, is to mop up and secure the fire 500 feet in. They'll move 1,000 feet in. They might not declare the thing out till wintertime, and then once the snow flies, the thing's out, because a fire like this is just too big to ever call really out. And Kathleen Clark, if you're watching this, I think the Wild Horse and Burro program is awesome, but the bread and butter of the BLM is the BLM smoke jumpers. Alaska and Boise.